Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. We start off at the cryptocurrencies. They tried to move higher over here, got up to 56,500 and then just rolled over like they've been doing for the last 3 days at least. Got a lot of selling going on in the cryptocurrencies and in the real markets as well. Not that the cryptocurrencies aren't real markets, but let us move over to our word of the day. Our word of the day is Clinquant. Clinquant is our word of the day, imitation gold leaf or artificial tinsel false glitter. The candle had a Clinquant foil embedded in the glass jar. So that's our word of the day. We go over to S&P 500 and refresh this, make sure we're looking at the latest figures, and they look pretty ugly. NVIDIA is down along with all the semiconductors. Amazon and Tesla are up yesterday, but they are down severely today. And most of the market is down. Our ETF of the day was home builders, just because it was up just slightly. So that is a story with that one. If you're at all concerned, we're going to have a hard landing, which is always possible. Don't let your 401k turn into a 201k. As you can see, this type of account beats index investing by about 5% per year. It goes up the stairs, does not come down when the market goes down, but goes up when the market goes up. And there are currently between 10 and 45% bonuses out there. If you'd like to learn more, please check in with me. And let us go over to our charts. This is our stock of the day. Sarah beat estimates on their earnings. It's up about 15%. So let's look at the dollar. Dollar index is up slightly, up 0.21%. Silver is falling, filling the gap there. Gold is falling as well, down to its 20-day moving average. Copper index is falling, has filled this gap here as well. 80% of gaps fill and then return to the trend. We'll just see if that happens. Uranium is falling big time as well. So that is the story there. Let's go over to our bond yields. We need to adjust our screen. Bond yields gap down, trying to bounce back here a little bit, off 0.51%. TBT is recovering a little bit, off 0.38%. That's under 3% yield. We did not look at we got the wrong symbol there. Here we go. And this is at 3.7% yield. Let's go over to the VIX. Volatility index popping up 2.2360 and 2388 was our goal where we thought it could move. So 2374 was a high. We'll keep our eye on that one. S&P 500 is diving down 1.64%, fell strongly below its 50-day moving average. RSP, equal weight in the S&P, had been holding up stronger. It is still holding up a little bit stronger, still above its 50-day, down 1.04%. NASDAQ falling strong again, 2.5%. We did put on the short on the NASDAQ a couple of days ago, and that seems to be working out okay at the moment. And the equal weight on the NASDAQ is off pretty strong as well, down 1.91%. IWM is off about 2% this morning. Dow Jones pulling back as well. Got this interesting kind of chart from, let's see if I can bring that up. I'm not sure if it was manipulation or somebody hit the wrong program trading, but we see this huge spike right over here, huge spike in volume. This is definitely computerized trading, algo. And then we had a follow through right here, but it is a kind of a spinning top, kind of a doji, kind of showing that there's going to be a change coming, and that change did come as things really sold off right over here. So that is what we found out. And this happened on every index. It was on small caps, it was on NASDAQ, it was on the Dow, and it was on all of them. So pretty interesting. So let's go back to our charts. Let's go to the world news. Biden administration said it plans to impose export controls on critical technologies, including quantum computing and semiconductor goods, seeking to align key allies in a U.S.-led push to thwart advancements in China and other adversarial nations. So that's the news there. On to our sector news. American outdoor brands, Q1 EPS 6 cents versus on revenues of 41.6 million, down from 43.4 million year over year. Said to continue to believe that remains well positioned to deliver growth in both net sales and profitability. Initially sold off and then bounced back up close to 1%. Costco said August total comparable sales up 5%, estimate 5.1. They're down slightly, and it looks like they're working on a cup with a handle here. Here's a handle right there. So put that on your watch list. This is Costco's the leading grocery or restaurant, grocery or food delivery brand right now. Rent the Runway, Q2 EPS loss $4.17 versus a consensus of $5.47. It beat, initially moved up slightly and then sold off. It is off 21.15%. Wow, that is a big sell-off. Smith & Wesson authorized a new $50 million stock buyback, reported Q1 sales of 88.3 million versus estimate of 102.5 million, and it is diving down nearly 10%. Zumiez, Q2 EPS loss 4 cents versus estimate of 33 cents. Gapped up strongly and then is sold into that. It is still up almost 9% for the day. Helen of Troy announces a new $500 million share repurchase authorization. They were up bigger earlier and then they sold off like the rest of the market. KBR downgraded to hold from buy at TD Cowen, and they are off 6.51%. Planet Labs, this is an industrials, energy, and materials. Q2 revenues rose 14% year over year to 61.1 million versus estimate of 61.8, and it is diving 28% on that news. Quanix raises full year 24 revenue view to 1.28 to 1.29 billion from 1.1 billion, and we got a huge gap up on this one. Quanix manufactures kitchen and bathroom cabinet doors components for buildings, up almost 23%. On to financials. Avalon Bay, 3.2 million share spot secondary priced at $222, and it is selling off on that dilution to their current stockholders. Coinbase upgraded to equal weight from underweight at Barclays and cut target to 169 from 206. And it is diving today, down 6%. And we have Robinhood upgraded to equal weight from underweight at Barclays, target to $20 from 18. And it is off 4.27% today. PayPal upgraded to its rewards program for debit card users with a 5% cash offer. Users of the PayPal debit card offered through MasterCard will receive 5% cash back on up to $1,000 in selected category spending per month. So that is down 3.94%. You can take a look at MasterCard. It's pretty flat for the day. On to healthcare. GlaxoSmithKline announced positive headline results of MATINEE, the phase 3 clinical trial evaluating Nucala on a monoclonal antibody that targets interleukin 5 in adults with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. COPD looks like it's working on a cup with a handle here. Had a gap down, continued, and here's the right side of the base, and here is the handle. So we'll continue to watch that. On to technology, media, and telecom. Broadcom is selling off. Q3 adjusted EPS $1.24 versus estimate of $1.22, less than what people were hoping for, even though it's up 18%. Got some heavy selling. You can see in this red bar right over here. DocuSign, Q2 EPS 97 cents versus 80 cents, and they are rising on that, up 4.3%. Got some good volume on the buying side, and EPS is up 35%. Guidewire, I believe this is up as well. EPS 62 cents versus 54 cents. We got a gap up. Did sell off later, but it is up over 12% as it pulls back into the pivot zone. You can see a little flat base right here. Pulls back to the 50-day and then just soars. To Qualcomm. Qualcomm has explored the possibility of acquiring portions of Intel design business to boost the company's product portfolio, according to two sources familiar with the matter. According to Reuters, Qualcomm is down on that news, down 3.86%. What is Intel doing for that news? It continues down 3.14%. We looked at Samsara earlier, Q2 EPS 5 cents versus 1 cent estimate, ending 300.2 million revenues versus estimate of 289.5 million, and it is soaring. It is pulling back a little bit. It's up 14.45%. Smartsheet is up as well. Q2 EPS 44 cents versus estimate of 29 cents, and it is up a little over 7%. And UiPath announced Ashim Gupta will be taking on the expanded role of Chief Operating Officer in addition to his responsibilities as CFO. And that one is selling off. It's about 5.5% as it remains mired in this bottoming channel after gapping down on its previous earnings. So that is the story there. Let's take a look at the FANG. This is index is kind of diving. The down, did I type that in wrong? Here we go. Down one is moving on up. It's up a little over 11% today. So if you went into this one, you would be doing quite well. Take a look around at the subsectors of the S&P. Financials are pulling back to 20-day. Communication services are diving. Meta pulled back to 501. Energy is pulling back. Real estate pulling back to the 10-day. Utilities pulling back to the 10-day as well. Biotech is diving below the 50-day. Both of them resemble one another. Semiconductors diving below the 200-day. Here's consumer discretionary. Consumer staples kind of holding steady. Healthcare diving, it's fallen below the 20-day moving average. Infrastructure pulling back to the 200. Leisure is pulling below all of its moving averages. Airlines pulling back to the 50-day. Home builders pulling back as well. So we bought what we did. We bought IoT yesterday. It's doing okay. We bought GitLab, which is pulling back a little bit. We'll have to decide if we're going to ditch this one. Kava still remains above, so $110 is the gap up. As long as it stays above this, I think this is healthy. So that's all we're currently doing at the moment, along with this bearish trade on the NASDAQ, up 8.22% today. So that is our story. It's kind of ugly day in the market. Pull back on hiring. The jobs report did not thrill too many people, and there's going to probably be less money to go around for boosting some of these consumer stocks. So there's going to be a huge reevaluation of where the money managers are putting their money. So we'll continue to look at all this information. We'll have an update this weekend. Look for that update, and we will keep you informed. This is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we'll catch you later.